Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Somebody has a case of the Monday. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And well, Bob's your own. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Soto. Boom. Woo! What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. That's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. I, of course, am Edward Raus at Edward Raus on all your favorite social media platforms as well. Welcome, everyone, tonight. A big night ahead of us as we are doing our college football extravaganza preview as college football starts this upcoming weekend. Week 0, as they call it. 4 games, one good one. More on that later. And, of course, Heavy T will be joining me tonight. Let's get this Heavy T, man. I love that guy, Heavy T. We'll be giving our picks for each of the major conferences, our national championships, our Heisman Trophy candidates as well. And I'm going to give you a little bit of my betting picks for week 0 as I'm getting excited because college football is one of my better. They're all pretty good, but my better winning percentage is college football when it comes to betting. So I'll have some picks for week 0 for you tonight as well. Before we get started, I do want to say not only are we on Instagram now, so shout out to all my Instagram viewers right now. Love you guys. Love it. Love the gram. But we are now going to be on Apple Podcast. That's right. After the live show is done, you can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify too. So the audio versions will start to go up and people can listen throughout the week. Great news. Great news. Next week's going to be awesome. Monday is going to be a normal show. It's going to be our 2-year anniversary at the Better Network. Fantastic. But Tuesday, what? 2 shows in 1 week? That's right. Because Tuesday we are doing the Guillotine Draft live. The Guillotine Draft live. We have 1 spot available for a lucky listener. So get in where you fit in. Go to MondayNightRants.com. There's a form right when you go. There's a form right up top. Fill it out. Get in to the Guillotine Draft. Information on how it's played and all the good fun. And live draft next Tuesday. It was a fun show last year. One of the best we've had. It was that's how legends are born, baby. Taj McGowan was born on the Guillotine Draft show. So there you have it. There you have it. I want to give a big shout out to all the parents out there who took their kids to school for the first time today for the year. Man, did I not miss that traffic at all, because traffic was bad. But my daughter started kindergarten and I didn't care because I watched her walk into class and went, I'm getting old. That's how it went. Without further ado, before we get into the college football portion of the show, let's jump into tonight's rant lines. Dallas favorite. Tonight's not so ranty, if you will. Or maybe it is. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. Preseason week 2 is behind us. That means say goodbye to all the starters till the football season starts September 5th. Because next week's preseason is going to be a whole jumble mumble of who? That's right. But there are some big winners and big losers from preseason so far, especially week 2. We're going to give the winners first. The biggest winner, I think, of this preseason so far, from what I've seen, is simple. It's clearly this year's rookie quarterback draft class. Caleb Williams looked really good in his few possessions. Bo Nix has looked really good. I don't know why they just announced him the starter now. Jaden Daniels looks awesome. What we've seen from Penix, okay. He made some good throws. Drake May is the only one that's kind of like we'll see. But shout out to the rookie quarterback showing off in the preseason. Looking pretty good. Looking like this may be a pretty good quarterback draft year. I know it's going to be a good wide receiver draft year for sure. Not a good running back year. But shout out to them. And shout out to Patrick Mahomes for throwing a pass behind his back to Travis Kelce after Travis Kelce missed the call and went the wrong route. But he threw it behind his back and he caught it and got a first down anyways. If that becomes a repertoire in the play calling, good luck to everybody out there because it's going to be tough to stop. Now, I don't think they will actually try that in an NFL game. I'd be surprised if he did, but it was fun to watch. And it was fun to watch Travis Kelce do his best Kermit the Frog impression of Patrick Mahomes in the interview. That was fun as well. But the Chiefs are also big winners. Their offense looks, again, the offense to stop in the NFL. They look really good. Xavier Worthy looks real. His draft stock for me in fantasy leagues went up because, again, the Rashee Rice suspension could be lingering. Hollywood Brown's going to miss some time. I think Xavier Worthy, he could be Tyreek Hill 2.0. There's a possibility. So the Chiefs are another winner from what I've seen so far. I mentioned the rookie quarterbacks. Everything looks really good there. Now, some losers so far that I must talk about is the 49ers' first string offense yesterday without Brandon Ayuk and obviously without McCaffrey. A little disjointed. 11 plays, 12 total yards, and 3 punts for Brock Purdy and company. Obviously, you got Trent Williams holding out as well, so that plays a huge factor here. But a little surprising that this cog that just keeps on moving for San Francisco, not impressive so far this preseason. By the way, points is a big loser in this preseason as well. There's a few teams who haven't even scored a touchdown yet after 2 preseasons. The Chargers are one of them. The lowest points after 2 weeks of preseason in the history of the NFL. Is it that the defenses are better or just, I don't know. But week 2, when there's only 3 weeks now, is supposed to be the main tune-up of preseason. And points are really hard to be had. The Bills aren't scoring points. It's just, it's a weird thing here. I have to say this too. Daniel Jones looked terrible. He threw a terrible pick 6, and then threw another bad interception. Now, 2 years ago, Daniel Jones, obviously the Giants went to the playoffs. The Giants do not look good. I don't think they're going to be good. But when he was healthy, even last year, on yards per play, DeVito had more yards per play when he was quarterback. Tyrod Taylor had more yards per play when he was quarterback than Daniel Jones when he was starting before he got hurt. I like Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to be a star, but they need to get somebody throwing him the ball with accuracy and consistently. And with Daniel Jones, I just don't feel that is going to happen at all. So he's a big loser. Man, I hate to pick on the Raiders again, but the Raiders have announced, and it's no surprise to me, that Gardner Minshew has beat out Aiden O'Connell to be the starting quarterback after the 2 weeks of preseason. Poor Devontae Adams finally got Aiden O'Connell to be the starter last year and started putting up numbers. Now he's going to Gardner Minshew. Now, it's not the end of the world. Gardner Minshew is a slinger. He's going to throw the ball all over the place. He's going to turn the ball over a lot and be very inconsistent with his completion percentage. That's for sure. Aiden O'Connell actually was a pretty decent thrower of the ball and quite accurate, actually. He was like that in college. Obviously, they got Minshew for a reason. He'll be the starter, but I'm moving down a little bit Devontae Adams in my rankings, only because he had a better repertoire with Aiden O'Connell. So, another big loser there in preseason. Some other losers. Jaylen Warren. Big injury here. That's probably the biggest injury from week 2. Luckily, we haven't seen a lot. Normally in preseason, we've seen some big ones. There hasn't been any like big ACL tears. Remember that Jordy Nelson year? That was rough for the Packers. But yeah, Warren came up lame. It's a hamstring. I don't think he's going to play week 1. Maybe not week 2, it looks like. So he's going to be out for a little bit. Najee Harris is going to be the hottest play DFS week 1. I'll tell you that right now. Sam Laporta, everyone's kind of consensus number 1 tight end, is dealing with a hamstring injury as well. They're not worried about it per se, but it's kind of lingering a little bit to a point where maybe, and I talked about this last week too, hamstring injuries linger. They linger. They're not one of those that just goes away, especially in an NFL season, because you're constantly putting work on your legs, on your hamstrings. So in drafts, am I taking him down and putting Kelsey above him? Maybe, after what I saw. Just maybe. I was high on him too. But we'll see. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy out for the season. We know that. Justin Jefferson, I am not drafting him anywhere. I'm just not. I'd rather take Jamar Chase. Sam Darnold looks god awful. I just can't. I just can't spend upper first round pick on Justin Jefferson this year. I picked him first overall last year, and I got screwed over it too because of the injury to him. I know he's the best receiver in the league, but his quarterback situation is not good. It's worse. Arguably worse than what Devontae Adams has. And that's not good, to say the least. And Justin Herbert, he has missed some time with plantar fasciitis, but good news. It looks like he is going to be ready for week 1, and that is behind him from what I read today. So there is a lot of good news coming out of there in the injury front. Puka Nacua, though, he'll be ready for week 1, but again, the knee injury, a little lingering. I moved him down in my rankings as well. I actually like Cooper Kupp better than Puka this year. I think overall, if Cooper stays healthy, he could put up better numbers. This came over the news feed today. That is right. Terrible person. Tua Tagovailoa. That's why we just call him Tua. Pretty much called Brian Flores, or he did, a terrible person, because when he was drafted by the Dolphins, he said that Brian Flores would literally tell him he was terrible and he shouldn't be in the NFL every day. Called him out on a podcast. He didn't hold back. Now, as a head coach in the NFL and a rookie quarterback who's, had done a lot in college, probably most likely should not be doing that to him, just to say anything. Now, I was never a fan of Brian Flores to begin with as a coach. I don't think he's a good head coach option. He's a good defensive coordinator. But as a head coach, nah, not a fan. And this just kind of doubled down my theory that he isn't head coach worthy. Now, should Tua be out there saying this? Probably not. And obviously, McDaniel has had a huge influence on him and upgraded his career completely, because remember, he was once considered, oh no, you should have picked Justin Herbert, but you got Tua. Ugh. But now Tua is actually a respectable quarterback in the NFL and putting up numbers. But it does help that he has probably one of the best receiving cores and running back tandems in the NFL as well. But just goes to show, Brian Flores shouldn't be a head coach in the NFL. Just saying. Why not? Caitlin Fever. Moving over, we got a few news stories on some of the sports, then we'll get right into the college football portion of the evening. Sorry for blah, 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 but that's all, folks. Caitlin Fever. Now, we had the break to the WNBA because of the Olympics. Caitlin Clark is breaking records left and right. She should have been on the Olympic team. I think she should have been on the Olympic. I think Angel Reese should have been on the Olympic team. Clearly, those two women are two of the best players in the world. And clearly, definitely, Caitlin Clark is one of the best players in the world because she's breaking all these other players' rookie records. That being said, she has a little bit of an emotional issue. She got hit with another technical foul the other night. She's 2 away from being suspended for a few games when she got mad. She's starting to taunt other players. Again, very talented player. But she wasn't really like that in college. And here we are in the WNBA, and she's starting to do this. Now, she went on the record saying, somebody asked her if she was going to buy season tickets for her family or tickets for family, and she responded, I can't afford that with a WNBA salary. Now, I see what she was trying to do. She was trying to say, hey, we don't get paid enough. But the way it came out, considering she just signed like a $28 million deal with Nike, which is great for the sport, was like, come on now. When it's all said and done, Caitlin Clark, from a website I read, could end up being worth close to $400 million in her career. So instead of complaining about it, Caitlin, that WNBA doesn't get paid enough, why don't you do something about it? Why don't you do something besides complain about it? Now, I know what she's trying to do. I get it. But come on. Take that money and help out the WNBA in better ways, which she's already doing on the court because it's getting more views than it's ever have. Obviously. Sold out crowds every week. We'll see how it all plays out in the end, but to say my salary is enough when you just signed a $28 million deal with Nike is a little insane. Just maybe don't talk about it. Just keep on doing what you do on the court to help build the sport. Okay. Welcome to the first day of 19th grade. If you don't know who this is Alan Bowman. Now, Alan Bowman is the starting quarterback for Oklahoma State. He has been in the league now. But I say the league. He has been in the college football system for 7 years. And this isn't a Brandon Whedon situation who he left to play baseball and then came back. No, he's been playing college football. He just entered his first day of 19th grade, and he will start in college football this year. Oh, the COVID rules. The COVID rules. Now, he actually is a pretty good quarterback and has been putting up numbers. Do I think he'll be drafted to the NFL? Probably. But he's not going to be one of those, first. He's not going to be a Brandon Weeden in that sense. He'll be drafted round 5 or later and serve as a backup, and maybe he'll go back to school for 20th grade. I don't know. But I just wanted to say, shout out to Bowman just for this picture that he took today and put on social media, because it looks like he's ready to go for his big day. Speaking of big days, big day is upon us, because we are going to talk nothing but college football the rest of the way. So if you're interested in college football the rest of the way, well, guess what? This is the show for you. We got picks for every conference. Well, the major ones. National championship. Who's going to win? I'm sure Heavy T and I will fight, because he's coming up next. And oh boy, Heavy T, I am ready to fight. College football predictions after this. But first, this.
Oh, the goalkeeper's made a right-hander of it! Oh, it's an own goal!
Oh, the goalkeeper's made a right-hander of it! Oh, it's an own goal!
Oh boy. Heavy T. Hey, Heavy T, you finally got the corner office, I see.
Yeah, just for today. So
okay. Heavy T, that was rough. That is American goalie Ethan Horvath from the United States men's team.
God, dude, setting American soccer back 20 years with that. Jeez Louise, man.
Yeah, just a bit outside, I guess they would say on that. Did you see Alan Bowman's post about his first day of 19th grade for his 7th?
Yeah, dude, I haven't thought about that. If it's 19th grade or whatever it is, if it's your 19th grade of school, go get a job.
He was in the same high school class as Trevor Lawrence.
Dude. Look, I'm going to be honest. In my personal opinion, that's someone who has absolutely peaked in college. And the reason you're still playing is because you're too afraid to leave school. Dude. Like, go get a job. Be normal.
How many teams? Because did he come up with Michigan? Oh, now we're gonna go off the rails.
Maybe he did.
A lot of time.
Look, just don't be a bum, dude. Go get a job like the rest of us.
Let's look up Mr. Bowman here and see how many teams he's played for, because I think it's a lot. Okay, if I could spell, I guess we would do it correctly. Good news though, we're gonna be on Apple Podcast now with this show, so that's
love to see that.
Awesome. He's actually only played for 3 teams. Texas Tech, Michigan, and Oklahoma State. His first year in college was 2018, dude. He should have graduated before the pandemic. What is going on here?
His first year in college is 2018. I started my career in radio. I'm not even joking. Like a year before that.
And you've been moving up the ranks ever since, my friend.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's still in college football. It's like, dude, come on.
Oh, shout out to him. Hope Oklahoma State has a good year, but doesn't look good, because we're going to talk about that next. Are you ready to jump into some college football?
I am, and I can tell you right now that Oklahoma State is not my Big 12 winner. So
no, yeah, mine neither. Well, let's start with the Big 12. Actually, let's just jump right into the Big 12, shall we?
Yeah.
Let me open up my my little thing here. By the way, all the odds we use here on Monday Night Rants are from FanDuel, which is the sports book of record. Conference realignment. 12 teams make the playoffs. Really 11 and a bonus. Just because you're in a terrible conference, you still get a pass if you are the best team from those terrible conferences. More on that later.
Shout out to teams like Tulane.
Yeah, Boise State. Memphis. Yeah, Memphis. More on that later. Okay,
I don't know how I feel about Memphis, but yeah, continue.
Looking at the Big 12 this year, we got a bunch of new players here, obviously, that came over from the Pac-12, Colorado. We have Utah, Arizona, who I thought last year looked really good, but I think kind of losing their coach and maybe a little rough here. Oh, by the way, I made cool little things for this. I should probably be playing them. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Ready? Watch this. Boom. Boom.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Win totals, baby. Look at that. We're getting, yeah, I know on the Apple people can't hear this or see this, but hey, we're getting better here. We're getting better. We're getting better. All right. Heavy T, just break it down. And by the way, there's no more in college like South Conference, North Conference, or whatever. There's none of that. In every one of these big four, I guess now, 3.5 in my opinion. But it's just first and second play each other for the championship.
Which is the way it should be.
That's the way it should
honestly.
be. So no more Iowa playing for a championship in the Big Ten. Thank God. Who wins the Big 12 and why?
So people are really high on Kansas State. People are really high on Kansas, Arizona. I don't understand why. I think for this, you have to go with the thing that's proven, and that's Utah. Utah is really, really good.
And I think Cameron Rising is coming back. He made
I believe
last
so, yeah.
year, and they still put up pretty solid numbers without him last year. So this will be
It's kind of
year.
wild how Utah goes from being 4th or 5th best in the Pac-12. To be fair, the Pac-12 was pretty stacked.
Well,
so they went from being
the Big 12. We talked about the teams they gained, but they lost Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah,
so
I think Utah goes from being the 4th or 5th best team in the Pac-12 to, in my opinion, the absolute best team in the Big 12. So I think Utah ends up taking this.
I think you're right this year. Their defense is stout. With Cameron Rising, obviously their offense is going to be good. Always have a good running game. Arizona looked so good last year, but to lose their head coach and go through this transition, they kind of got down. Again, we're talking about another team. I do like Kansas State. I'm not a fan of Oklahoma State. They're too run and gun, and their defense gives up too many points. So
Colorado. I know everybody's like, ooh,
I was going to ask about Colorado. They are actually plus 2,500 here, live odds to win the conference. And a lot going on there with it's too much drama, I think. And I don't think those college kids need it. Obviously, they have a Heisman candidate in Sanders at the quarterback and Travis Hunter, really. But
I mean, I hope they do well. Just Deion, for as much as I love Deion, he's just kind of turned me off to the whole program. Now, I will say this, that has nothing to do with their on-field product. But I need to see them on the field.
Their defense is not good. Their defense is not good.
And ironically, it's not their defense I'm worried about. It's their offensive line was horrid.
Yeah, also that.
So, yeah, that's what I need to see improvement on before I start declaring up any type of winner.
Yep. So I agree there. I'm going with Utah. That was my pick too. So we agree there. Let's just get the ACC over with as fast as we can because I'm feeling it. And why is it Florida State and only Florida State? I mean,
because
Florida
State's the best one. I do not trust Clemson at all. Like for the past 3 years, they've been getting like this massive preseason hype, and then they just don't do anything. I will say this: I think it's Florida State. I think Miami gives them a little bit of a run for their money.
Don't we say this every year?
Well, it should have been
great recruiting class every year. Yeah. Great recruiting class under delivers. Every year.
They're taking baby steps to get there. And they had it last year.
They're walking slowly.
They had it last year, but that Georgia Tech loss with the stupid no-kneel basically torpedoed the entire season. Because after that, I mean, I kind of get it. I wouldn't want to play after that either. This one, I think, is probably the most cut and dry division. It's Florida State, and it's only Florida State. But Miami does better than people think they will.
I think Louisville is going to do better than people think they will this year as well. At plus 1,000 odds right now. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Florida State, Louisville again in the championship. That's all I'm going to say. They didn't lose a lot, and they were stout last year. It was a weird game, they're only getting better because Louisville's a really young team last year. So I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to sprinkle it in. All right, let's do the SEC first, shall we?
Okay.
The SEC. Welcome, Texas. Welcome, Oklahoma. Boy, is Oklahoma going to regret this decision this year. I'm going to tell you that right now. They do not have a good team.
No, they do not.
and they're going to an SEC, and Oklahoma does not have a good defense.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma kind of gets
they're going to get
in their first roll. Yeah,
steamrolled this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make a bowl game. That's looking at the recruiting, looking at the depth chart, looking at everything they lost. I mean, they lost their quarterback for one. They who's the Heisman Trophy favorite at this current time? they lost.
We'll get to that in a second.
I don't like them. But even with Texas now too, right? Is Texas, who was the favorite, would be the favorite over Utah if they were still in the Big 12? There's like 3 on my list here.
So this one, I'm going to be honest. This is the one. I flip-flopped a little bit with my winner of the Big 10, but I flip-flopped a lot more with my winner of the SEC.
Yeah, to me, there's 4 teams that could win it.
I don't like saying this.
Don't say Ole Miss. I will.
No.
I will cut you off.
I don't like saying this. I think Georgia wins it again. But I would not be surprised if someone else won it. This is a very.
Do you think Georgia is worthy of the number 1 team in the country right now? I don't.
Probably.
I think they're number 3.
Okay, I'm curious. Who do you have 1 and 2?
I think the next conference we're going to talk about is the strongest conference from the top 5 than any other conference in college football. I think the Big 10 has the strongest top 5 than any other conference. I think we
disagree with that. We'll come back to it.
Georgia, Texas, Alabama, and then you got Ole Miss, LSU, A&M, Tennessee. Now, when we get to the Big 10, I'll lay out the top 5. And then you could tell me who has the better top 5 in the conference of teams.
First off, get A&M out of there. They don't belong there, dude. Like, just get A&M out of there.
I'm just going by FanDuel odds right now.
I get that, but I go Tennessee over A&M.
I would too.
They're like right behind them, so I go. Yeah. Tennessee. I do not trust A&M whatsoever. But yeah, Georgia wins this, but I think it's a dogfight, pun intended.
And Georgia would play Texas or Alabama?
Yeah. I don't think Ole Miss is there just yet. Now, I say that now, and I'll explain that in a second. But I'll say Georgia. Yeah, Georgia versus Texas.
The problem with Ole Miss is they have a coach who consistently shoots himself.
That is my problem. I think Ole Miss can be a legit contender, but their one problem is that Lane Kiffin is their head coach.
Yes. Yeah. Even last year, like they'll go like 6-0 and then lose to a number 1 Alabama by 7 points, and then lose 3 straight after that. It's always like that.
Let me double check their schedule before I say this, because I have somewhat of a hot take, but I want to double check the schedule first.
I love your hot takes. They're the best.
Let's see. Okay.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to say Texas wins.
That's fair. That honestly, those are the 2 teams I
think Texas will beat Georgia in a shootout in the SEC championship.
Okay, I'm going to say. So here's my hot take. LSU they still have a winning season, but it's not enough, and Brian Kelly gets fired.
I can see it.
So right here on the bottom ticker, their win.
That's not a hot take, man. That's every LSU fan right now.
LSU's win total is 9.5. Pick the under. I think.
Yeah, I would take the under on that for sure.
Yeah, they play Ole Miss, A&M, Bama, the Florida one. They might be getting a beat up Florida team, but they also play USC, Oklahoma, and UCLA. It's going to be an interesting season for
more on UCLA.
And Arkansas is in Arkansas too. Like that could be a sneaky game.
Arkansas, say it like an American.
Arkansas.
All right. I think the SEC this year will be turned over as being the best conference in football to a new one. And the new one will be the Big 10. Now, they need to rename it because there's like 40 teams in this now.
Yeah, it needs to be like the Big 16, but yeah.
I think Ohio State should be the number 1 team in the country. I think Oregon should be the number 2 team in the country, and then Georgia.
I could see an argument for that. However, since we're on that topic, I actually have Oregon winning the Big 10.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you.
Here's my thing. I don't think these Big Ten style defenses are ready for this speedy Oregon offense.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there because I was going to talk about this. It's on my list here, and I'm going to stop. You are 100% right.
Okay.
100% right. But what you're missing is this. Oregon had the best recruiting class of any Big Ten team this year in 2024. They outdid Ohio State. They outdid Michigan. They outdid Penn State. They outdid USC. All these teams. The best. Number 3 in the nation, I believe. And not only are they speedy, have Dylan Gabriel, who's the Heisman Trophy favorite from odds right now. They got 2 running backs on the watch list. They got a receiver of the transfer portal that's a 5-star stud, plus the 2 receivers in Johnson and I forget his name right now, but coming back from last year. But what is the craziest thing about this all is their coach, is their defense. Oregon, I think, is 2 last under 1 minute drives from Michael Penix from being in the national championship last year. Their defense got better, and they're the only team coming over from the Pac-12 that has a style of defense and a coaching style of defense that fits also into the Big Ten. So now you have a top defense and a speedy offense that has never been seen in this type of conference.
Yeah.
I agree. Now, that it's going to be a test in Ohio State, but I think I'm putting this out there. I am going to say this right now. For the first time in the history of college football, Ohio State and Oregon will play each other 3 times. I think Ohio State will beat them in Ohio. Oregon will beat them in the Big Ten championship game, and Ohio State and Oregon will be in the national title game.
We have 2 very different.
We've never seen that in the history of college, but now we can. Now we can, right? It is possible. I'm just telling you, it's possible for the first time ever for 2 teams to play each other 3 times in a rebuttal game for a national title, beating each other once. Isn't that insanely awesome?
So, I just realized there's a very strong possibility that also happens in my world. I guess we should move on to the national title game because in my world, I have Georgia, Texas in the national title game.
Okay, I had Texas.
And I guess Texas, Georgia could play each other in the SEC title game.
Mm-hmm.
They already
play each other?
They play each other in Austin.
So there you go. See?
Yeah, at the moment it would be number 1 versus number 4.
We live in a world now where that can happen, and that is crazy that could happen. Like you would, they play each other 3. No way. No, never.
I have Georgia, Texas in the national title game. Now, remind me real quick. Who'd you say you have winning in the national title game?
Who do I want to win? Who do I have winning? I think Ohio State's the best team in the country, and it's not even close. I think Oregon does take one back because I think there are the 2 best teams, defense, offensively. Henderson, the running back for Ohio State, like built wise, I think Ohio State's going to win the national championship.
So
it hurts my heart, but I say it.
My problem with Ohio State is that they suffer from the Ole Miss effect, where they have an absolutely stacked team, but their coach is unfortunately Ryan Day. He's just not good.
I mean, if you want to compare Ryan Day and Lane Kiffin, every college program would pick right. Ryan Day over Lane Kiffin.
I would pick Ryan Day over Lane Kiffin. You're right, but I think when it comes down to these bigger games, he's just not good. That's just my opinion.
He has gotten his butt handed to him from Harbaugh and Michigan lately. But Harbaugh's out, and Michigan's not going to be good this year. By the way, if you're looking for... Okay, here's a question, and this was asked to me. Of all the teams moving to a new conference from the Pac-12 or from wherever, who's going to have the hardest time?
USC.
No, UCLA. UCLA lost their 5-star quarterback who... He not only did they lose the 5-star quarterback, he went to go be a backup at Oregon.
I think here's my thing with UCLA. No one was expecting them to be good. I think that USC...
They're going to be terrible, though. I think that not a bowl game terrible. USC will make a bowl game, I think.
But I think they're bad enough to where if Lincoln Riley, if he's not fired, he's on the hot seat going into next season. Their schedule is not easy. So they open at LSU. Week 3, they are in Michigan. The following week, they're back at home, but against Wisconsin.
That's tough.
Then 2 weeks after that, they're at home against Penn State. They still have to play Washington. I honestly think Nebraska's defense could beat up on USC. And then, of course, the very end of the season, USC Notre Dame. I do not like USC at all. Their defense is horrific. Lincoln Riley does not believe in defense anyway. They are going to be the ones that I think struggle them. Of the teams that are expected to be good year in and year out, I think
because Stanford is really going to struggle in the ACC. Not only do they not have a team really, their travel schedule is rough.
Yeah, for Stanford, and I think it's Cal that also went to the ACC.
Yeah, Cal is actually plus 8,500 to win.
That makes
Stanford is plus 50,000.
That makes no logistical sense. I honestly think that they probably only stay in the ACC for like a year or two, and then they realize like this was a tremendous mistake. We cannot do this. Yeah. So it's so dumb.
I have to ask you, who's going to win the Pac-12 this year in Week 3? Will it be Oregon State or Washington State? Who's going to win?
I'm
going to say Oregon State.
I'll say Oregon State. Yeah.
I think they play each other Week 3 because they're playing a lot of Mountain West schools this year, but
and I think they will eventually. I would not be surprised if you see the Mountain West dissolve and just turn into the Pac-12.
I agree. Oregon State plays Washington State for the Pac-12 championship, for the Pac-2 championship, I guess. A week after they play Oregon.
Yeah, love that. That's going to be
in the Civil War, which is Week 3, which is sad, but that's the way the cookie crumbles now. So I have Ohio State, Oregon in the national championship playing each other 3 times. You have Georgia, Texas, who also would have to play each other 3 times.
So I have Georgia, Texas. I don't have them necessarily playing 3 times because I think Texas could still get in even if they're not in the SEC title game because that division is just going to be rough. So I'm not going to necessarily say they play 3 times, but they will play at least twice, once during the season and once during the national championship. And I have Texas winning. So
okay.
I think Texas wins.
I have Ohio State beating Oregon once again, just like the first time we did this. Remember the first time when it went to 4 teams? Ohio State beat Oregon and Marcus Mariota in his Heisman year. What if Dylan Gabriel wins the Heisman for Oregon? It's Ohio State, Oregon again, and Ohio State wins. I would. And Henderson instead of Ezekiel Elliott. Just that'd be
that's my thing. I do not think Dylan Gabriel wins the Heisman Trophy.
Okay,
and
who wins?
This one I also flip-flopped on. I almost went with Quinn Ewers. I decided to pull back the reins a little bit. I'm going to go with the pick that you might think is a little bit surprising, but I'm going to go with Jackson Dart. I actually really like Jackson Dart. Great touchdown to interception ratio.
Plus 1,400 FanDuel.
Not bad. I think he has like the 5th or 6th best odds. Like I said, great touchdown to interception ratio last year. Almost 4,000 yards. If you look at his stats, he's gotten better every single season. This is his senior season. Now, like I said, the only thing that's probably going to ruin this Heisman candidacy is probably Lane Kiffin. But I actually really like Jackson Dart going into the season.
Yeah, obviously Gabriel's the favorite, followed by Carson Beck and then Quinn Ewers. And then it's kind of a tie between Dart, Jalen Milroe from Alabama. I'm not even going to try to say his name. Ian Malavia from Tennessee. Will Howard from Ohio State. I think Henderson would be the bell cow there over him. I know quarterbacks win it, but why not a running back this year? You know, why not put a little bit of money on there when you get in those odds at like plus 5,000 for him? So, Ollie Gordon plus 7,500. I mean, we talk about Oklahoma State not being a good team, but that dude is the best running back and will be the top running back taken probably in the draft next year too, or one of them. Obviously, him and Travion too. So, where's Travion Henderson? Plus 12,000. Jesus, put some sprinkle a little. Arch Manning has better odds of winning the Heisman than Travion Henderson. Come on! Come on! Real quick, because I know you got to get back to your corner office and make your sales phone calls. But 11 teams from these power conferences will make the college football playoff. But one team gets an automatic bid. Yes, we've heard this before. Who isn't in these 4 power conferences? Who is it going to be and why?
Who is the one team that doesn't get in from the Power 4?
Who's going to be ranked number 12 is what I'm asking.
All right, let me take a look real quick. I can tell you it's not going to be a Mountain West school.
Ooh, okay. Can I tell you who the current favorite is?
Go ahead. I'm actually curious.
It is Boise State. Boise State is actually the favorite from all the non-big conference schools to get in. Now, they do have a little bit of a quarterback controversy right now, which is
well, I believe they went with the sophomore instead of the transfer.
Correct.
I believe that came out today. Yeah,
and there's a big name transfer. It was kind of odd, but they're plus 400 to make the college football playoffs, followed by Liberty at plus 440, and then you got Memphis at plus 550.
With Liberty, is Hugh Freeze still there? I don't think so, right?
All right. Isn't he done by now?
I'm pretty sure he left. I do not. He could still be there. I could be wrong.
I mean, do we need to see Liberty again? I mean, they got it's Jamie Chadwell. I'm not touching Liberty in this bet. I do like Memphis though.
I'm looking at all these. Yeah, maybe Boise State does have the best chance because I'm looking at all these other teams.
You know what's crazy is you could have we'll say Clemson team that is 13-2 or 12-3 or 11 and whatever. They have 3 losses, okay? And you could have a Boise State team get into the college football playoff that's 9-5. Just because one of these spots has to go to one of these teams. There's still something wrong with the system.
Hey, you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but I think 12 is the best we're going to get for a long time.
You know who's up here too is your UTSA, plus 1,300.
I don't know why you say like UTSA.
Tulane plus 1,100. So I think Tulane actually moved. Didn't they move conferences? Aren't they in the ACC now or one of them?
They might be.
It's hard to keep track. Yeah, they are the AC. No, they're still in the American Athletic Conference.
Yeah, no, they're the AAC. Okay, cool.
So they could get in. I could see Tulane being the team. But Boise State has the best team of all these for sure. But with the quarterback issue, they have one of the best running backs in the country. Their defense is stout, but they do have to play 2 really good teams also in the Mountain West, and that is UNLV and Fresno State. Now, they don't play Fresno State in the regular season, which is crazy. It's a big rivalry. But they could end up seeing Fresno State in the Mountain West Championship. They lose that, and let's say Tulane wins their championship, Tulane would be in. So that's kind of the way I look at it. So it's going to come down to that. And do I think Boise State's going to go like an undefeated team? No. They're going to lose 1 or 2 or 3. Yet somehow they're still going to get into the national.
I love how you used Clemson specifically. Maybe Dabo should get better. Also, I'm very anti-Dabo because I found out last night that apparently Clemson is a dry stadium, and it's just the most Dabo thing ever.
Yeah.
So,
well, shout out to Wisconsin, who is now for the first time in 6 years a non-dry stadium, and was ranked one of the drunkest colleges in all of America. So that's going to be.
Dude, you live in the beer state of America. Why are you a dry school? Like, what is that? It's so. Dude, just let people drink at a game.
Camp
okay?
Randall,
man.
Trust me. I'm sure that first game they gonna be celebrating.
Yeah, no, for real, dude. They'll be out.
So, do you have a pick here for week 1 or week 0? Sorry, between Florida State and Georgia Tech. Now,
Florida State. It's not even close.
This is betting bait in my eyes. They got DJ Uglia. Oh, man.
Yeah, the DJ guy. His name
from Oregon State transferred over. So
Ungalele or something like
that. It's not at Georgia Tech. It's actually at the Mercedes Stadium.
Oh, it's in Atlanta.
Benz. Yeah. Now, Georgia Tech is only a 11.5 point underdog.
10.5 now.
It moved?
Yeah, 10.5.
Oh, you're right. FanDuel 10.5, 11. Wow. What is going on here? Why? Why is this happening?
Florida State wins it, and I don't think it's relatively close. Florida
That
State
means people are just taking money on Georgia Tech right now?
Yeah, they might because it's a new quarterback. There's no Jordan Travis, but I think Florida State.
It opened at 12.5.
But I think Florida State's going to be on a path to just absolutely destroy as many people as they can, especially after the controversy of last year with them being left out.
Yeah. This opened at 12.5 and it's down to 10. Okay, I'm Florida State all day, every day. That's my pick. I'm taking Florida State, and it's not even close. I'm going to put a lot of money on their minus 10.5 right now. Get in while you fit in. Another one I like too is I'm taking the favorite is the SMU Nevada. Nevada is trash. SMU, obviously the conference realignment and the move, but I'm taking the minus 27. It's going to be a crazy one in there as well. All right, man. I'll let you go on your merry way to your corner office there at FanDuel Studios and enjoy Raw tonight because I'm hearing the Wyatt Six are going to do something crazy.
We'd love to see it, man. We'll recap it on the next Born to Hill, not this week, but the week after.
Yeah, and next week our 2-year anniversary, 2-year anniversary, and then Tuesday's the Guillotine League draft, baby. We are here.
Words of the Homies is going to be a movie.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I got one of those.
Hell yeah.
Take it easy, Heavy T.
Right.
All right. So Heavy T is with me. Now, I think he's on something here. I don't know why this spread for week 0 between Florida State and Georgia Tech is the way it is. It just moved down to 10.5. Moved 2 points. I am taking Florida State and the 10.5 as quick as I could possibly press the button right now. Right now. You should too. That game actually is not in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I believe that game is actually in Ireland. I just got it's overseas. Still fun. That's still good to see. So college football is here. I'm excited. Each week we'll give our college picks as well. We'll go over the AP poll, if you will, and where everyone's at, and give our best college picks. We crushed it last year. If you go to MondayNightRants.com, MondayNightRants.com, you can see our percentages from last year. And I'm going to be posting an article, a weekly article on MondayNightRants.com as well with my college football picks each and every week. Next week, like I said, Monday, our 2-year anniversary on Better Sports Network at Better Network. It's going to be 100% fantasy football. Maybe a little college because we'll have the week 1 bets as well, but mostly fantasy football. There will be no rant lines next week because we're just going to be talking fantasy football. All before the big day next Tuesday when we do the Guillotine League live draft here on MondayNightRants.com. We're going to have a ton of special guests. Heavy T will be on the whole show. So if you like Heavy T or you love Heavy T, you want some more Heavy T, well, next Tuesday night on MondayNightRants.com will be the way to get more. I will have people that are in the league, like who's been on the show, like Matthew Sells will be joining me, talking about his strategy. Elliot Jams from The Drew Show, New Rock 104.1 will be making an appearance. And then I'm going to open up a link and a phone line for anyone else in the league just to call in and enjoy. A Guillotine League is like something you've never played. It's 18 people, 17 weeks. Each week, whoever has the least amount of fantasy points from your starting lineup, you're cut. You're guillotined off. You're eliminated. And then all your players, well, they go into free agency, and it's a fab war to see who gets who. It's a lot of fun. And again, probably by the time I started the show, that last spot filled. But if you want to get in the Monday Night Rants Guillotine League and be a part of the show next Tuesday night, go to MondayNightRants.com right now. Right now, there's one spot remaining. One spot, and it could be yours. MondayNightRants.com for that. Also this week on MondayNightRants.com, don't forget Born to Heal, the WWE podcast. Me and Heavy T talking everything WWE. It's a great podcast. It's growing. Thank you to everybody who's continuing to watch it, to listen to it. Give it on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on MondayNightRants.com as well. And the new one for the EPL that I'm doing with our friend Matthew Sells. Keep it at EPL. A great debut episode going over our table predictions for the EPL. We will be back this week as well. We're recording that tomorrow. A lot happened over the weekend in the EPL, so a lot to talk about. I'm looking forward to that. You should too. Again, it's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can watch the video on MondayNightRants.com, on YouTube, everywhere. And also, we got football picks, my rankings for fantasy football. I just updated them today on MondayNightRants.com. Everything is there. If you want to talk about any of this with me, hit me on the socials at Edward Raus. I am available all the time. Hit me in the DMs. You have a fantasy football question. You have a draft question. All this stuff. It's all here. We're all here. All year. From myself, the Better Sports Network, at Better Network, and all your favorite social media platforms. From Tyler Heavy Soto, live from the FanDuel Studios in Los Angeles. College football is here, man. And the NFL's right around the corner. I love it to see it. And I love to see all of you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me. I see you guys in the chat. Sorry I didn't have a lot of time to throw it all up on the screen. But next week, during the draft, we are going crazy with that. I may just leave it open. Just let them all just file in. No cussing, though. No bad words. I don't want to get canceled. 2 shows next week. Until next week, enjoy the week of sports. Enjoy college football. And as always, shout out to my boy, Taj McGowan.